Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for waiting. Thank you for joining in early. My name is Rajiv. I work with CV Sir, and I am going to administrate and moderate this session. CV Sir is the host, and he'll be sharing uh, the observations of Mission Turmeric 2021 with all of you. We are waiting for more people to join in so that we can have a decent quorum to execute this session. And we also have some very special guests. We are also waiting for them. So it's going to be a mixed crowd. We have on the registration list, I see a good mix of people where we have certain people who are actually part of our mission as growers. We also have some students joining in. We also have a lot of people who's been following the journey of Mission Turmeric for a long time. And they are also part of this session, and they're yet to decide if they should take action, move into, join us on this mission Haldrak 2022. And there are some new people who recently got to know about Mission Turmeric. So it's a nice mixed bunch of people that we have on this today's session, and it's interesting. I'll be very happy to take this session forward. So I appreciate your patience. I would suggest you to wait for a few more minutes so that we can have a decent quorum to kickstart this session. Thank you.
So guys, I'm here like a typical military guy, 15 minutes in advance, signed in. And like Rajiv said, we'll just wait for a few more minutes because today is a Sunday and this is the day people catch up with a lot of work at home and things like that. So we just need to wait for a bit.
Well, we have our first special guest joined this session, Dr. Anke Gowda, sir. Thank you so much, Dr. Anke Gowda, sir, to join this session. Thank you for making time. And I am going to introduce Dr. Anke Gowda by so that everybody knows where actually he's coming from. Dr. Anke Gowda is working on physiology and agronomy of spices like cardamom, black pepper, ginger, turmeric from last 25 years, drought management in cardamom and black pepper. He recommended shade regulation and basin irrigation for early flowering in black pepper. It was demonstrated in large number of planter field. He also recommended spraying of kaolin clay or spraying of lime with potash to overcome sunlight injury and moisture stress. He was also involved in planting material multiplication of spices, distribution and transfer of technology of spices, has participated as a resource person in farmers seminar regularly, and this is one of them. Presently, he is a vice president of Indian Society for Spices located in Kozhikode. Welcome, Dr. Anke Gowda. I would also like to bring your attention to more special guests that we have on this session. We have Ms. Preeti Nair. We also have Mervyn Francis, and we are also expecting Dr. Murtuza Hassan, who are also part of this special session organized by CV Sir.
Rajiv, let us introduce in the meantime Mr. Mervyn Francis, who is also from, as you know, Mission Turmeric has buyers as well as, we connect the chain from seed to harvest and beyond. So can you introduce Mr. Mervyn Francis as part of Lipids? And we can ask Mr. Mervyn to say a few words and just introduce himself.
Mr. Mervyn Francis is from a company called Plant Lipids. He is representing as one of the elite buyers of the turmeric market, and I'm sure he is here to give us some insightful ideas and aspects of the turmeric market, how a buyer looks at turmeric as a market and the produce and the farmers' issues. So we're happy to have you, Mr. Mervyn Francis, here, and we would like you to speak some words to kickstart this session while we are waiting for Dr. Anke Gowda to resolve his audio issues.
Hello.
Hi, we can hear you.
Okay, yeah, I just wanted to confirm. There's like, I'm in Kerala right now. I just had a big downfall, pour for right now, rainfall. So the net connectivity seems too poor for me here. I hope I'm audible to everyone.
Yes, sir. You are audible. Thank you.
Yeah. So yeah, let me introduce myself. Myself, Mohan Francis. I'm part of the procurement team of Plant Lipids Private Limited. I handle the procurement of both turmeric and ginger, and most of our purchases with respect to turmeric comes from mainly from the Karnataka region, Andhra, as you all know. And yeah, I was hoping for like a start from the uh, discussion panel. Uh, so glad to be a part of this meeting. And as you had mentioned, like we look at more of the quality specs and definitely the pricing as well. And Plant Lipids is mainly a company on focusing on extraction and stuff. So definitely we need to know how the specifications with respect to uh, curcumin content is being provided with respect to all the turmeric that is being collected and procured from the traders and the farmers. So we are looking at farmer level procurements as well. So that's mostly about me and the company and the procurement I do.
We'd
Thank you
request,
so much.
we would also request Mr. Mervin to, we'll also give him an opportunity to tell us a little more about procurement and what specs they look for during the course of the session. So, yeah, so I think,
Thank you,
Rajiv,
sir.
we have, I think, about 16 people right now. And I think in any moment, we'll have Dr. Hassan from Indian Agriculture Research Institute joining us. So, yeah, I mean, we expected a more number of people, but I think people are busy on a Sunday, so it doesn't matter. It's all recorded, so we can also send it to the people who could not join. I would request everybody to ask as many questions at the end of the session. There'll be a Q&A, and uh, let's make it a very lively session, because we are very serious about this mission turmeric and mission Haldrak, as we call it. We added ginger this year to make it Haldrak, Mission Haldrak 2022. So Dr. Ankegowda is still with us, but unfortunately he has a problem on his mic or audio. So, but he said he'll continue to be. He's not exited. He's still there.
No, he exited and he rejoined.
Whatever. He's still there on the program.
Okay.
It's okay, but we will also give details of Dr. Ankegowda to all the rest of the participants, so that they can also talk to him at some stage when they start their pilot projects. So we have one of my star students here today, that is Preeti Nair. Mrs. Preeti Nair is an old student of mine, has done some amazing work in hydroponics and soilless agriculture. And we are happy to welcome Preeti to the program. And Preeti, in the meantime, before we start, if you would like to say 2 words about what has been your experience in soilless agriculture right from the time you trained with me, that will also be a motivating thing for everyone else. Thanks, Preeti.
So I had attended CV Sir's hydroponic session, a training session. It was about a 1 day session, maybe around 7 to 8 hours of training that was held in Bangalore. That was around 6 to 7 years ago. And it was an eye opener into the, as many of you would have already experienced, into this world of hydroponics, which I had only till then seen on YouTube and places like that. So it seemed believable, it seemed doable, and it definitely, because till then I was only familiar with organic farming. I had done all sorts of experiments with organic farming, but this seemed very promising to me. It really motivated me, inspired me to try this new technique of farming. And I went back with whatever information he had given. And right from exotic herbs, like all your herbs like parsley, Thai basil, kale, different varieties of lettuce, to fruits like strawberries, to normal Indian vegetables like brinjal and lady's finger and, tomatoes and you name it. I mean, there were about 50, 60 varieties of plants that I grew successfully, very successfully. I was amazed. I did my mistakes, definitely. I did a lot of mistakes. I goofed up quite a bit. But at every step, I went back to CV sir, and he would guide me, what steps were to be taken, how I could correct it. And over a period of 2 years, I successfully grew a number of different varieties, 50 to 60 varieties. And that motivated me quite a bit. And then is when I thought maybe I should try and turn this into a venture where more people can benefit, because obviously you have so much of produce, you don't know what to do with it. You need to be, if I need to continue to grow, I have to be able to also sell. That's when I got into microgreens. That was 2 years ago in Bangalore. I started my own microgreens venture, and I started growing microgreens with a technique that involved organic farming and hydroponic farming. So the techniques that CV sir taught me, I merged it with organic farming techniques which I had practiced earlier, and then was able to deliver a very high quality product in the Bangalore market, which my clients used to tell me they couldn't source before I started supplying them. So I was very, very apprehensive at first. I mean, is anyone going to buy this? Is anyone, I mean, the effort that I'm putting into this, is anyone going to be able to give value for that? But I had an amazing experience even through the pandemic. I mean, I was not allowed to stop my delivery. So you all can understand how good the product turned out to be, thanks to again the and I faced a lot of problems even during the growing of microgreens, but CV sir was able to help me at every step, and it just helped me succeed in my venture. I have now moved to Calcutta, and I hope to set up this microgreens venture, and also maybe hydroponic other leafy vegetables, and maybe also get into turmeric and ginger cultivation hydroponically in Calcutta. That's about it, sir.
Thank you so much, Preeti ji, for
Preeti,
that
I mean, thank
wonderful.
you so much. Your
Thank you.
your testimonial speaks a lot because it motivates others. And
Yes, sir.
for a person who just attended an 8-hour class of mine, having done, I think you did very well.
Thank you.
So
Thank you, sir.
yeah. Thank you for joining us on this session, and please do ask questions in between
Yes. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
when there's a Q&A. Yeah,
Yes. Yes, sir.
yeah, yes. And Rajiv, Murtaza sir is there. Can you introduce Murtaza sir?
Sure. So we have our another special guest for this session, Mr. Dr. Murtuza Hassanji. I was happy to meet him for the first time in Delhi, Pusa Agricultural Festival, Kisan Vigyan Mela, along with CV sir. So welcome, Dr. Murtuza ji. I'm going to introduce you to everybody, whoever doesn't know about Dr. Hassan. Dr. Hassan is presently working as a principal scientist at Center for Protected Cultivation Technology, ICAR, Indian Agriculture Research Institute, Ministry of Agriculture, located in Pusa, New Delhi. He has done his PhD in agricultural engineering from IARI, New Delhi, and he's got 21 years of experience in research, teaching, and training, including 6 years experience in working at international projects. His research areas are protected cultivation technology, water resource management, vertical and smart farming, and pressurized drip fertigation. He has been awarded diploma from ETIFA Nova Darts Agricolas. Excuse me if I didn't get that rightly pronounced, which is located in Spain, and received international fellowship from Masha, Israel, and World Bank for PDF assignments in Israel and Spain. Dr. Hassan is the life member of ISAE, Indian Society of Agricultural Engineering, and ISWM, which stands for Indian Society of Water Management, and IPSC, which is Indian Society of Protected Cultivation. He is a faculty member in the Division of Agricultural Engineering, IARI, and guided 20 MTech and PhD students at IARI. Dr. Hassan has coordinated 15 international and national funded projects funded by DST, World Bank, ICAR related to protected cultivation technology and water resource management. He has published more than 100 research papers, technical articles, reports, seminar proceedings, bulletins, etc. He has given 50 live and recorded programs on national channel Doordarshan, DD Doordarshan Kisan channel for extension and technological support related to greenhouse farming, drip, drip fertigation, and water resource management. He has been recently actively involved as technical expert and member in DST TIFAC, Government of India, National Water Mission, Ministry of Water Resources, Government of India, Bureau of Indian Standard, BIS, Government of India, and National Horticultural Board, Ministry of Agriculture, Government of India. He can be contacted at, I have his email address. I will drop it in the chat box so you can make a note of that. Whoever has any direct questions to be asked to Dr. Hassan later, they can send him an email. I'll share the email address later. So I welcome Dr. Hassan to this session. Thank you for making time, and thank you all for joining this session on this Sunday evening. I hope you all had a good Sunday. CV sir, I throw this open to you to say a few words about your relationship with Dr. Hassan so far, your journey with him so far, and then we can hear some few words from Dr. Hassan also.
Dr. Murtaza Hassan sir, welcome, and thank you so much for taking time out in your busy schedule to be with us at this program of Mission Turmeric, Mission Haldrak as we call it now because we added ginger. Just short introduction of how I know Dr. Murtaza Hassan is we know each other now for quite some years. We participated as co-speakers at the National Seminar on Protected Cultivation at University of Agricultural Sciences, Harvard, and that was in 2017. And ever since we've been in touch quite often. And Murtaza sir is a great well-wisher of what I do, and sir has seen my work over the years. And I would rather have Murtaza sir to say a few words and motivate everyone on this panel. I would request Dr. Murtaza sir to say a few words. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Once again, thank you, Commodore Prakash, your entire team, and all dear participants. It's really a matter of pleasure to be associated with Mission Turmeric. And although I am in Delhi, but I have been discussing frequently with Prakash and his team. And recently in the Kisan Mela of Indian Agriculture Research Institute that we held in the March month, Prakash Saab came with his team and then put the stall and demonstrated the technologies related to Mission Turmeric and hydroponics. What I would like to tell all the participants that broadly what you are doing, that the farming, that is the most, you can say, beautiful example of precision farming, all what you can say smart farming and all the things. It's basically a soilless farming that we call there, also hydroponic farming. And there are lots of challenges and all these things are there. And then very good solutions have so far been provided. What I see for this type of farming, that there is a great future. Many users are there, especially nowadays in big cities, urban cities, lots of populations are there. So now this type of cultivation, what we call broadly smart urban farming, is coming up in a big way. And let me tell you that there is in terms of market, there is a huge potential in everywhere, whether it is in India or it is in any part of the world. If you say that now the total worth, it is in several $1 billion. And this technology is rapidly growing in terms of so many things, whether it is the technological part, whether it is the fertigation part, functional devices, management part, lighting management, vertical farming. There are so many dimensions being added. And that's why in the future it is going to be very, very important thing. And then what you are specifically doing in Mission Turmeric is something very great. This type of farming is very much required. There are challenges, and then you have already achieved some specific targets related to turmeric that Prakash has shared with me. And then lots of training also, and lots of exposure required to many growers. Let me tell you that you are privileged that you are being guided by a very technical expertise team. And then there are many farmers who are there and many growers nowadays. Growers, if you tell that the growers are those that they are graduate people, they are undergraduate people from vast backgrounds, from engineering background, from law, from business professionals. So many professionals now are coming to adopt this type of farming, especially in the what we have found that in the post-COVID area, this type of farming and this type of technology is very much required. And then Prakash Shah with his team is doing marvelous job for the country. And then it is already been reported to many part. It will take some time before being adopted formally by, I should say, that many government, state governments and other governments, that that what you are doing. It will take some time, but once it is there, it is so much relevant that every state government and central government wants to adopt this technology for common growers and farmers also. So my best wishes with you. I shall be, although I am, that's why I told Dr. Prakash that I will take some time, because I am not in Delhi for some family commitment. I am in my village part, that is in Muzaffarpur, Bihar. But really, it's a matter of pride that I joined these things. And then my best wishes with you. Prakash, please go ahead. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Hassan, and your words will definitely motivate a lot of people, and especially coming from a person with your experience and your knowledge and experience really matters. And you saying such good words about Mission Turmeric really warms the cockles of my heart. And I'm sure that all of us here are very privileged to have you on this session. Thank you very much, sir. And Rajiv.
Thank you. So for all those who don't know who CV Sir is, CV Sir is also known as the hydroponics man of India, who worked as a grower for 8 years in Australia, and he came to India in 2008. He pioneered the soilless technology, soilless farming in India, and he's backed up by 22 years of experience in this domain. He has also served our country in the Indian Navy, so he's a Indian Navy veteran, and after serving the nation, I think his calling was helping India to have more scientific farmers, because in Indian agricultural journey, if we notice, most of the traditional farming, the development pace is not up to the mark, because there's a lot of lack of science literacy. And the objective of CV Sir and this mission and vision is to create at least 500 authentic science-oriented farmers in India, is focusing more on soilless side of farming, and that would be it. That's his basic fundamental mission for India, and that is why his primary vertical is skill building and training with CV Hydro, and secondary vertical is commercial farm consulting. So in case if you are trained very well, you have the confidence and skills with you, then he can also help you with commercial farm consulting, and he also helps people with farm supplies and inputs. So that's a little bit about CV Hydro. I'm not going to take much of a time to introduce him. And for all those who know CV Sir, all those who are here, who are already part of this growers group, they'll be able to see what kind of experience and the run that we had in 2021 with Mission Turmeric. And we would definitely want to share our lessons learned and keep things transparent to everybody, so that we can ensure that we are on the right track and we are moving ahead with more rigor and more audacity to take this mission to another level in 2022. So, CV Sir, I pass this back to you so that you can kickstart the session without wasting any more time. Thank you, sir.
Everyone, thank you very much for joining the Mission Turmeric 2022 program. I don't think I need to say anything much about myself, because most of you I see here know me. and some of you are new to this mission. We would have expected a more number of people, but unfortunately, because possibly it's a Sunday, so we have less number of people. But nevertheless, we have it recorded, so there's no worries. So the whole Mission Turmeric is about keeping in alignment with the Indian government, central government's mission of doubling farmers' income. Now, doubling farmers' income is all good, and I mean all the government research institutes, universities are working very hard to bring in more technology to help people to double their income, triple their income. And we thought that, okay, how do we contribute to the central government's mission even without them asking us? So I, being a maverick, and I had a lot of time during 2020, and I said, let me just work on something because all my students had gone away from Bangalore because of COVID. And I set down to set myself a task to work on a variety of turmeric called the Salem turmeric. Salem turmeric is normally grown in the region of Erode and that part mainly in Tamil Nadu. And we got some amazing results at the end of 2020. We got the highest yield we got from a grow bag was 8.13 kilograms, which grew from a small rhizome of just 60 grams. So 60 grams to 8.13 is a almost 136% growth in volume. Having said that, we got some very good results with when we tested at the lab. The curcumin content showed 5.91%, whereas this particular variety of turmeric normally only gives a yield of, a yield of curcumin around maximum 3%. So we close to doubled the curcumin content. We had no heavy metal traces. We had no chemical pesticide residue because we don't use any. We use only biological controls and cultural controls and physical controls. So having said that, it was a fabulous year for us because we broke the turmeric code and we proved it because I remember Dr. Jagannath Rao, late Dr. Jagannath Rao, another well-wisher of mine who used to work for FAO. He used to always tell me, CV, know-how is of no use unless you do how and show how. So I always went by what he used to say, and we were so happy that we could do it and show it. But then I was not happy with just what I got. The most important thing is that whatever you achieve on land, in the laboratory, must be taken to the land, and then we must show actual farmers actually getting those kind of results. So in January 2021, I decided to launch Mission Turmeric 2021, and we had many open webinars like this, and we had about 23 growers, people coming into the growers group, about 20 of them as learners with small pilot projects, and also we had 3 commercial growers about which I'll talk during the session. So with all the R&D done and the proven results that we got, we invited people to learn and become proud growers of world-class turmeric. Now, I must remind you that I'm not trying to teach people how to grow turmeric. I'm trying to teach people how to grow quality turmeric, which has got value in the market, where they can actually sell and make some good, decent amount of money. So that is the most important thing that was on my mind. So I'm going to be today talking to you. I'll be telling you the whole truth about how the Mission Turmeric has gone, where have been the lacunae, where have there been slip-ups, where have there been problems, and why, if some succeeded, why some did not. I'll be running through a few slides, and in those slides you will come to know the reality. I'm not here to give you a rosy side or a rosy picture of soilless agriculture. I'm not here to promise you any or give you any guarantees or any such thing, because I believe I've been a farmer myself. I come from a background of having done farming myself, having been a supplier to Bharti Walmart a few years ago in Bangalore. So I come from a farmer's perspective. I understand the pain points of farmers. So I'm not a student of agriculture in any university in my life. I'm not a BSc Agri or an MSc Agri. I'm a self-taught person and I've worked with my hands. So whatever I talk today is from my practical experience in my life with plants. So I'll be telling you the reality of this whole mission, what has happened. Take heart, but I can tell you one thing, for a person who puts his effort, nothing can go wrong. The science is a proven science. It works, provided the man behind the science also does his bit. So next slide, please. So March 22, we are here and we are launching the second part of the mission, wherein we are expecting more growers to come in. I think we already have about 17 growers who already joined in this year. And it's very important. It's very good that we are having this session, because earlier when we did the program last year, there was nothing much I could tell about other growers, because there were no such growers, soilless growers. But today, after having learned lessons, I'm able to bring in front of you the truth of what happened, how it happened, the reasons why it happened. If some people failed, why they failed. If some succeeded, why they succeeded. So we are very happy that we have one commercial grower who's really brought out some amazing results, and we also have a pilot project grower who also did some amazing work. And both these people had the highest odds against them for various reasons, personal, professional, whatever. But I'll be talking about that as we move forward. So we also had 21 watch and learn participants. That means there were people who were late in getting into the growers group, because planting normally takes place anywhere around first week of May in parts of Karnataka, Kerala, Tamil Nadu. We plant in May first week. In some parts, especially the northern side, what happens is they plant a little later. So we conducted 8 boot camps completely so far. In the last year, we did 7 boot camps, and the whole idea of having these boot camps was that we need to help people who are first timers getting into this pilot projects. Rajiv, be slow, please. So what happens is that these people, they needed help and they were very new to it. So we taught them right from scratch. We conducted 4 or 5 day boot camps in Ahmedabad. We conducted in Bombay, Chennai, Noida, and 3 of them in Bangalore. So totally 7. And this year we did 1 boot camp in the month of February or March, early March. And that was the 8th boot camp. What we do at these boot camps is basically people who are absolutely new, like Dr. Murtaza sir said. There are people getting into this field from all kinds of backgrounds. There are chartered accountants, ex-airline pilots, Fauji's, all kinds of people are getting into this field. So what has happened, they are all new to it. They've never planted a seed in their life. So what we do, we show them how the rhizomes are cleaned, how they are treated, how the pre-seeding treatment is done, how cocoa peat is hydrated, how the electrical conductivity and pH is adjusted, all kinds of things. It's a practical boot camp with very little theory behind it. In some boot camps, we did have some theory sessions, but the whole idea was to take people on the right path so that they start on the right track. The whole idea of what CV Hydro believes is that take people on the right roadmap, and the right path so that they start correctly. And then we are there throughout there to help them in their journey. Of course, it all depends on how much they interact with me, because I sit here in Bangalore and it's a remote consulting. So I have to rely upon as much data. More the data, the more I can help. So it was beautiful. We had 8 camps and it was wonderful. So the next slide will tell us what else happened. Rajiv. And further, we must say, we trained in all these 7 to 8 boot camps. We trained more than 140 people were trained. Some got into the growers group, some got into the watch and learn group because they were late. But we must say we had close to about 45 to 50 people in both growers group and the watch and learn group. Many of them were doing very well up to a certain point, and then for some reasons, the curve went downwards. Either it's due to complacence or it is due to overconfidence or whatever. But that we will discuss as we move forward. But we are proud to say that we did 140 plus people, and we're still counting in 2022 more people to come in. Now, what are the observations that were made in Mission Turmeric 2021? I'm going to bring the truth to you. I'm going to tell you exactly what happens here. We are not here to fudge or tell you any great figures and those kind of things. We're going to tell you the truth and nothing but the truth. Like I say always, people fail. It's not the soilless science that fails. And soilless agriculture or soilless horticulture is precision farming, like Dr. Hassan said. It is science. That is why we have universities of agricultural sciences. Why? Because it's a science. Agriculture is a science, and most people don't realize that there's science behind it. And one has to learn the science and understand why they do what they do with plants, because plants are living things. Many people, unfortunately, are made to believe in this industry that agriculture is a push button science. That means you press some buttons and everything happens. If that was the case, we would have solved the problem of agriculture in this country. And Dr. Murtaza sir and many of his counterparts can take retirement because agriculture problems have been solved. If you ask Dr. Hassan in his more than 35 possible years or maybe more in this field, he will tell you that one lifetime is not enough to understand plants. It takes a lot of experience. You can ask Preeti, who's also on this panel, how much she has struggled with so many crops. But imagine she could achieve in a place like Saharanpur, which is, I think, very hot. She could achieve almost 40 to 60 crops. And the way she grew strawberries, I was amazed how she did that in such a warm and hot place. Kudos to her. So if she could do it, she was also, okay, she had done a bit of organic stuff, but still, how quickly she adopted the science. She understood the science behind it, and that's why she succeeded. So next slide, please. So what happened in 2021? We had 23 growers, 20 in small format. So I'm a person, I believe that first you must learn the skills, the science behind things, understand in a small way, and only then go for big things. So we had 20 small format pilot training projects. Means what we did is we created a 500 square feet and 1,000 square feet format. And some chose the 500, some chose the 1,000 square feet. And three of my people who already were very confident because they were my students, they said, no, we were going for commercial. I cautioned them, but they still went for it. And I'll also tell you what were the results that came from it. So the next slide, please. So small pilot project success story among all the 20 growers who did small formats of 500 and 1,000 square feet. Sachin and Uday Patil, two brothers. Sachin lives in Dubai. Vishwanath Uday Patil lives in Alibag, Maharashtra. It is such amazing. They went through some real problems during COVID and the lockdown, and many delays happened to their project. And they also had death in their family and so many different things. But still, they put in so much of wonderful effort that they actually got 4 kilos of Chenna Salem from just 120 grams of rhizomes. And they got Kali Haldi or Kurkuma Acacia, as they call it, botanical name, they got 4 kilos. For a starter, I must appreciate and say, wonderful. They are not here on this program today, but I would say it in absentia. Wonderful Sachin, wonderful Uday. This is just the start. You guys are going to be doing 8 to 9 kilos in the next year. Thank you very much and for having been part of the growers group. Next slide, please. Yeah, so in the pilot training project, the results were like this. The minimum yield that most people got was around 2 kilograms per grow bag. The maximum yield achieved by pilot training project people were around 4 kilograms per grow bag. They have sent their turmeric for lab testing, and reports are awaited, and we have not yet got the reports. We're waiting, and some of them are still not 100%, have not harvested their rhizomes for whatever reason, although it is a little late. And some joined very late and are still waiting to harvest. Next slide, please. Yeah, so this is the commercial pilot project success story. Vinay, you can see me in the middle here in the picture, and Vinay is on my left, and Mr. Kantaraju is on my right. And we just met them about less than a month back. We went to their farm for boot camp, fourth day. And it was such an amazing experience, If I tell you the story of Vinay and Kantaraju, you will not believe it. These guys, they are electrical and electronic wizards, and they're geniuses in their field. And Vinay and Kantaraju, again, like Preeti, came for a 2-day program or a 1-day program. And they went back and started doing some vegetables on the rooftops at home. And then they come one day, give me a surprise and say, sir, we want to get into turmeric cultivation, soilless. I said, hello, good morning. Are you sure? Yes, sir, we are going to go for it. And the funny part is, by the time they purchased their land and then the COVID second lockdown in 2021, they got delayed. They could not get a person to fix the shade net. And being engineers, they made their own reverse osmosis plant. They made the net house themselves. And the best part is a 0.7 acre greenhouse, shade house was built by them personally by these two great engineers. And they built it for just a cost of 7 lakhs. It's an amazing story. And they brought down the cost, and they wanted to do much more. But because of lockdown, they were restricted. And by the time they planted, they were very late in planting. They planted in July end, when we normally plant in Karnataka by first week of May. So you can imagine they had lost almost 2 months. Then they planted some in the first week of August. So when we went to their farm recently and they got this 5 kgs, it was shocking because first of all, they planted late and they achieved this. And the person on my left, Mr. Vinay, moved from Bangalore along with his 6-year-old daughter and his wife to stay on the farm and look after the turmeric. So that is the story this is the most inspiring story. And he had 7,000 grow bags in his farm when we went. And the average that we got from about 15 to 20 grow bags, the boot campers also were given an opportunity to harvest and see. Everyone who came for the boot camp was shocked to see every grow bag giving around 5, 5.1, 5.12, whatever. So in this picture, you can see it's about 5 point something. I can't read very clearly the scale, but it's 5.32 kilograms from a 120-gram rhizome. This is a Chenna Salem variety. And when I broke a piece of the rhizome, I could see the orangish, the color of the curcumin inside. They're sent it for testing and we're waiting for the results. So we had in the pilot projects, the small format, a great success story where they got 4 kilograms per grow bag. And here we have a person two people who put their heart and soul and they got 5 kilograms, which means that the technology works. And the technology works if there are people behind it with great passion and purpose. So congratulations to Vinay and Kanta. They're not here on this program, but in their absence, we must celebrate and give them a big applause. Thank you very much, Vinay and Kanta. So commercial soilless turmeric project result highlights. Gujarat, we had a client with 1 acre of turmeric. Karnataka, 0.7 acres. Maharashtra, 1 full acre. The results were as follows. Gujarat result was just 2 to 2.5 kilograms per grow bag in commercial. They were growing Chenna Salem variety. They were in a place which has got heat and humidity, which is very much liked by turmeric and ginger. The Zingiberaceae family are lovers of heat and humidity. They got their result just 2.25 kilograms per grow bag with Chenna Salem variety. Now I just told you about Vinay and Kantaraju in Karnataka. They got for the same variety. And the best part is there is no geotag for the area which is known for turmeric. Their area is not at all known for turmeric and they could grow 5 kgs. And Gujarat, the place where it is very favorable for turmeric, the result was just half of what Vinay and Kantaraju achieved. So guys, then there was another client, not client really, an old student of mine and a friend. They decided they don't need any consulting, they don't need any, and they said, we manage it ourselves. They obviously did many things wrong. And instead of using a shade house, they put up a poly house where my R&D has proven that if you grow turmeric and ginger in a poly house, you're not going to get those kind of results. So they did it in a poly house, so they wound up and they were not even able to get 1.5 kilograms. So guys, here we are telling you the absolute truth of what happened. We are not showing you big numbers. We are telling you why and how these things happened. It is more to do with certain factors, which I will highlight as we move forward. Next slide, please. Yeah. So we also had performance assessment parameters. So there is something called scouting. Now, in our way of doing soilless agriculture and in soil agriculture, there is something called integrated pest management. Integrated pest management means you will use all kinds of biological controls which are harmless to human beings, even if there are some residues. But there, to be able to find pest and disease on time, you have to do something called scouting. Now, scouting is something that you do through the day. It is not something that you do once in the morning when you come and say, oh, my crops are fine, there's nothing I've seen. Pests and disease come at different times of the day because at different times of day, different pests come alive. I mean, they come into the garden or wherever you're growing. And you have to understand that like for example, a butterfly, you see it flying around in the daytime, but you never see it fly in the nighttime. You don't see butterflies at night, but you see moths flying at night. Now, moths also damage crops. So you have to do night scouting, you have to do day scouting, intraday within the same day, you have to do scouting. Only then you will be able to see a problem while it just started. If you can do that, then you can use biological controls, biopesticides, bioinsecticides and things to be able to take charge of the problem immediately before it becomes widespread among the crop. So scouting was one thing that we kept on telling our students, please scout, please scout, please scout. And we had scouting parameters to be sent back to us. I'll tell you what was the results of those things. And the time given by the grower for the crop. Some people have given 10% of the time. Some have given maximum up to 30, maximum 40%, not their whole heart and soul. So time and attention to the crop also suffered in many cases. We had reporting and communication software. We had a company that made a software for just for turmeric for our purpose, so that they could test it as a beta testing. And there again, we found the growers not just getting into it, and communication also was extremely poor. Which means I, as a consultant, or I acting as an agronomist remotely, my ability to help people is based upon what? It is based upon the communication. If people don't communicate with me, how do I help them? I cannot sit in Bangalore and just imagine something is happening with their crop. Crop growth management, that means we had many parameters to be reported, which I'll talk about, and the sustainability of the project. So if you want to sustain the project or your excitement, a lot of people get into it with a lot of excitement. The excitement is more of how much money I will make. But the excitement should be how much of time will I give to my crop. That is more important, because money will follow. So these were some of our observations. We found that people could not sustain their excitement. They lost their way in between. They didn't realize that why did I start this? Where am I headed? So that is the reason many of them did not get the results that they should have got. Next slide, please. So, like I said, the most critical and frequent activity in soilless farming or soil farming is scouting. The more you scout, the more better you become, the more it helps you, because you can take action. Otherwise, it is like if you get appendicitis, you cannot go to a homeopathic doctor. You have to go to an allopathic surgeon who will remove your appendicitis. So we don't want the plants to come to the point where the appendicitis has happened. We want that everything should be controlled by preventative methods, by therapeutic methods, wherein we can use only biocontrols, physical controls, cultural controls to not be found using chemical pesticides, because chemical pesticide is very damaging. As we all know, it causes all kinds of diseases. So more the better you will be positioned to resolve the issues if you do proper scouting. That means observation is the key. And like Rajiv mentions in the slide, being a mother of a newborn baby is easy, but taking care and bringing them up is an uphill task. You can have a baby, but if you don't have the skill, or if you don't have the time to bring it up, then what do you expect from the baby? Or what kind of growth, what kind of child will that child become? So you got to empower your plants. It's all about a plant empowerment. When they need water, they need water. When they need food, they need food. When they need anything, they need it. That is why soilless farming especially is one of the most intensive horticulture in the world. And as much as people may make you believe that if you have a lot of technology, you can sit at home and press few buttons and money will be in the Paytm, it doesn't happen that way. Next slide, please. So, sorry. So scouting, to be honest with you, was below average. Go back to that slide. Yeah, it was, I would say, was below average. And the time spent with crops on an average by people was less than 40%. And many of them have come back also to say that the consultant was not good and the floor was not proper, so they couldn't dance. But I can tell them very openly that it is not like that. It is just that you spent very little time with your crop. You had other things to do. You were busy with other professional activities and your business. So you gave lesser time than what was needed. When you enter into a field like agriculture, you got to remember, you got to give your 100%. But that did not happen. Then if it happened, you got one person who got 4 kg and there's another person who got hardly 1 kg. So that answers any doubts or questions as to why people fail in agriculture. It's because they think they just take it for granted and give short shrift to the fact that you need to give a lot of time and attention to your crop. Next slide, please. The remote consulting process involved a reporting format of 64 different parameters. The Excel sheet contains 64 parameters to be reported at different frequency of time. Scouting, reporting, communication, all this goes hand in hand. And unfortunately, even after putting in so much of effort to tell people that please report, the reporting was below average. And in the process, they would come up once in a month and say, oh, my crop, this has happened, that has happened. But you see, if you got a particular attack of a pest, and after 1 month you're reporting that you got something, you already crossed the stage. Sometimes you cannot use a chemical pesticide to help that crop. So that is what happened with most of the growers. So all those who are planning to enter into this field, it is my ardent request that please understand that you have to report frequently, communicate frequently, and we also, people who join our growers group, we give them a lot of video packages, we give them the boot camp videos so that they all understand. We call them free of cost as growers to come for our boot camps, and we are always willing to help and we want to help. But our ability to help is based upon what the grower, how much the grower talks to us. Next slide, please. So crop growth management with 100% scouting efforts, timely reporting and communication, the process of crop growth management is easy and will be more preventive in nature. You will not have to use any chemical pesticides, which is what we want. So anything, any remedial action can be done in time only if people report and do more scouting, so less doubting. So that is what we have the mantra. Whenever you have nothing to do, scout. People think I watered the plant, now I'll go home, have a good sleep, I'll come back after 4 hours. But in those 4 hours, so many things happen to the plant. So this is a whole-time job. It is not a part-time kind of stuff. So I would tell everybody who's planning to enter into this field, not just turmeric, any crop in the world, these kind of things that I'm telling applies. But here we are talking about our Mission Turmeric, what happened. The funny part is when we went for some of the boot camps, you won't believe the growth was so good. Everything was happening nicely. In the first 6-7 months, some of our growers were doing extremely good. And in one case in Noida, we got 3 kg in 7th month or 6th month. And suddenly everything nosedived. What could be the reason? Either you thought that it's all fine, I've learned everything, and either you became overcomplacent about it or you became overconfident, and that's what happened. Later, there was a declining trend. So thus the result was what it is. Next slide, please. So like I said, excitement is all right, but enthusiasm and excitement everybody has. But how do you sustain it? For sustaining it, you need to be at it. You should know why did you start it? What is required? You brought a baby into this world and then you're saying, I am not able to look after the baby. So same thing happens with plants. Plants are like children. They need all the time they need your attention. So the previous 3 parameters were the areas of actions to ensure the sustainability of the pilot training project. The zeal to sustain was on a declining trend, as I said, as reflected in the observations of previous parameters. So to say the truth, below average sustainable efforts from growers was one of the reasons why many of them did not get a better result than what we would have envisaged. Next slide, please. So we have 6 principles of how to make a sustainable project and how to be a profitable grower. So I have 5 P's and 1 F. So the first is purpose. Why are you getting into this? You should be very clear, and your purpose has to have the top priority. Many people are entering into this field of agriculture thinking that they know their purpose, but because their purpose is not known to them, halfway down they lose interest or they collapse. So purpose, why do you do what you do in life, is very important. So those of you who are planning to enter into this field, understand why are you coming into it. Are you going to just give 10% of your time, 20% of your time, and then blame CV Hydro and say, oh, the consultant was not good? It is not like that. Consultant wants to help you, but if you yourself lose your way, it's very hard to help such people. Then passion. Passion is there in everybody, but once you know your purpose, the passion is automatically ignited. Persistence. That means every day you got to put that 10 hours, 12 hours, or whatever amount of time as effort. Only then when you spend more time with your plants, you see problems happening, and that persistence. And sometimes you face challenges. Agriculture is full of challenges. Life is full of challenges. But you don't give up. People give up halfway. Punctuality. Now, if you think I can come to my farm and look at my turmeric plants at 1 o'clock in the afternoon after having a good breakfast and lunch, obviously you are not with your plants. So punctuality, being there, doing things in time, being ready in time, these are all very important. One of the factors, punctuality. Perseverance. Never give up. Believe and live your purpose. And like Rajiv has put, you got one life. So do it. Keep doing it. See, I've been doing this for 22 long years, and I wake up, I eat, sleep, and do everything about Soilless only in my life. So you got to persevere with something. If you persevere, you have to get the results. I showed you 2 success stories. They persevered. So that's how they got those results. They'll do only better in the next season. Focus. Keep sharpening your focus. Keep yourself focused. Don't run behind all kinds of things. I want to do organic turmeric. I want to do permaculture turmeric. I want to do that turmeric. Stick to one thing, do it and do it well. Next slide, please. The six critical essentials for success of a project is based on seed quality. If the seed quality is not good, then automatically you're going to have problem, because everything starts with the seed, and a good quality seed is very, very important. It should come in a way that it has no diseases or any such microbiological contamination. Otherwise, some of the microbes which are dormant come alive, and they come alive not in the beginning, they come alive in between the crop, and that is very dangerous. So seed quality is very important. Time and attention, I've already mentioned. 100% scouting to be done. Record keeping, keep a record. We, unfortunately, in India, we are not good record keepers. We don't like to write records. But if you write the records, it's useful to you. You know what happened, how you did things, and that same records can be shared with us so that we can keep guiding you correctly. Reporting and communication, I need not say anything more. We already spoken about it. Management style. How do you manage the whole farm, or how do you do things? If you're not there, is there someone else who can do your job? Is there someone else skilled enough? All those things are very important. I've had growers who say, sir, I was not there for 2 weeks, I just came back. But then who was looking after the farm? Nobody. So it cannot happen that way. So there are 6 essential, critical essentials for success. These are the 6 ones. Next slide, please. And then we have this great industry of soilless that is growing in India, like Dr. Hasan sir said, it is growing in leaps and bounds. But while it is growing in leaps and bounds, there are a lot of unnecessary lies and myths that are spread to people to make this look like, a very easy thing to do. They even tell people that only you save 90% of the water, but they don't tell you for which crop. 90% of the water may be for particular crop, but for turmeric, if you say that you are going to save 90%, it's not true, because these ginger, turmeric, and these kind of crops, they are hungry for water, they are hungry for food, and the food is given along with the water. So it is very wrong to say less water is required, a lot of water saving is there, but without mentioning which crop. So that's a myth that is going on in this industry. Don't buy into it. Then the higher density of plants you put, the higher yield you'll get. Come on, there is an optimal amount of plants that you can put to give you the best result. If you have a jungle out there without any spacing between the plants, if you don't have proper photosynthesis because the plants' leaves are interfering with each other, then you won't get higher yield. Actually, it will be the other way around. You will get very less yield, and you'll also end up with a lot of pest and disease, because you will create microclimates in between these plants, between the leaves, because there is stale atmosphere, stale air out there. So you need a lot of circulation of air, and also you need enough amount of light to penetrate into the crop canopy. Then people say, oh, you don't need any specialized skill to do soilless agriculture or hydroponics. You just press a few buttons and it'll all happen. You don't need any knowledge at all. So again, that is the reason why there are more failures in this industry than success. When they say initial input costs are very high, so cost of failure is higher, which is in a way right. But at the same time, people buy into these wrong things, and then they find themselves in trouble. Vertical farming yield is very high. Now, I'm sorry to say, I'm not a person who supports vertical farming of turmeric, because my turmeric grows to a height of almost 6.5 feet. And if you have 11 layers and 10 layers and 6 layers, just imagine how you're going to grow these plants. Where is the light going to come from? Where is the air movement going to come from? So I, for one, when people come to me and talk to me about vertical farming, I put them back into the horizontal, because vertical farming is okay for certain crops, but not for all crops. And khas karke for ginger and turmeric, it will not work. It will not work. Just to say that what is grown in 100 acres in soil can be grown in a vertical farm in 1 acre. Now, come on. I would like someone to, take me on that and prove to me that actually it happens. Then people say you don't need to spend a lot of time on the farm. There are a lot of technology available, artificial intelligence and Internet of Things will look after. Yeah, I wish it was that way. Even in Netherlands, if you go to Israel, if you look at the agronomy people, they work almost 8 to 12 hours inside the greenhouses. And Dr. Hasan sir is also an expert in the protected cultivation. He can throw a light on that. So you need to spend lot of time on the farm. Otherwise, it's just not going to happen. And then they say human being is the least important in the whole equation. Means there is robots and there is all this technology that will take care. So these are the wrong things that is being bandied about, and people are telling these kind of unnecessary lies in the market, which is not a good thing. And at CV Hydro, we are swimming against the tide. We are swimming against all these myths and all these lies that are being told in the market. It is hard for us because when we tell the truth, many times we don't get people joining us. But it's okay. We would rather have people who understand the reality of the science and get into it. And we are here to help them, provided they are able to give us data, talk to us, and take our help. Next slide, please. Now, just getting into the little bit of statistics. We have some statistics from the website called agrifarming.in. You can see here traditional turmeric farmers, 1 acre yield and economics. An average yield for a farmer who using no great technology or anything or improved management practices, they get hardly 1.2, even up to 2 tons maybe of turmeric per crop per acre per cycle, which is a 9-month crop. And it says here cost of production goes to 36 rupees a kilo. That's extremely high. Okay, and when they sell wet turmeric, that means just harvested wet turmeric, they get anywhere between 18 to 20 rupees per kilo if it is sold as just harvested turmeric. This is just averages, guys. Don't take it as sacrosanct. Markets keep fluctuating. Then when you dry and polish the turmeric, that is, you have something called the wet to dry recovery ratio. The wet to dry recovery ratio depends on what kind or what variety of turmeric it is, but it can be anywhere between 18% to 21%. That means if you got 100 kg harvest, when you dry polish it, the weight will come down to just 18 to 21%. And the average prices in the market fluctuate between as low as 50 rupees a kilo and it goes up to 90 rupees a kilo. And this is for soil. This is what I'm showing you for soil farming. And if they sell, some turmeric farmers are selling their rhizomes, which are wet rhizomes, just harvested or prepared to be sold as a seed rhizome. Dr. Ankegowda sir will throw light on how you can also become a certified seed supplier, provided you are able to prove to the government body that you are producing genetically pure varieties. So recently at Vinay's farm, my 20 students, most of them purchased some turmeric to take home and put into their grow bags or wherever in the garden. And they paid 120 rupees per kilo for just wet seed rhizome or harvested seed rhizome, which is used as seed. So they say that if they have a profit per kilo, then you're looking at about 14 rupees per kilo, or I don't know how much is that. Can you correct me, Rajiv? What is this?
Yeah, that's when they sell the dry polished turmeric at 50 rupees per kilo. Considering the cost of production per kilo 36, they end up earning 14 rupees per kilo as profit.
Okay, thank you for the clarification, Rajiv. Next slide, please. So here we are looking at the soilless turmeric growers 1 acre yield and economics. There's again some numbers that we have thrown in here. So if you were to put 8,500 grow bags in a 1 acre area and you got a yield of 5 kilograms, you're looking at 42.5 tons per acre. It's like Vinay and Kantaraju in Tumkur, they put 7,000 grow bags and for an average of 5 kg, they're looking at 35 tons from 0.7 acres, which is very high compared to soil. The average yield, if you get like we got 8 kg per grow bag, of course, it is not so simple and easy, but yes, it can be done, is about 68 tons from 8,500 grow bags. And at 68 tons, when you're talking, these grow bags might even tear apart because the turmeric, while growing, they grow voraciously and they break through the grow bags. So our cost of production comes down to as low as about 12 rupees a kilo. Wet seed rhizomes, again, mark my words, wet seed rhizome prices can be anywhere between 100 to 150 rupees a kilo, provided it's very good quality. Dry polished turmeric prices in the market is around 50 to 90, and there are cases last year when there was shortage of turmeric, good quality turmeric in the mandi. It has also gone as high as 150, 170 also per kilo. If you sell as a certified seed rhizome person, then you can sell it anywhere between 80 to 120, depending again on the variety of the turmeric. So a soilless grower's profit per kilo you're looking at is almost 38 rupees per kilo, which is extremely good, extremely good. And here we have already proven and shown that people are getting up to 5 kilos in commercial. They could have done better, but they had many of their challenges. But next year, the same people are going to hit 7.5, 8 kilos for sure. So there is hope, and we have proven to the world that this can happen in a small format as well as in a big format. So what we are showing here is reality. So that, because as I said, it's not just about talking. You got to walk your talk. So we have done it, and congratulations to those people in Tumkur who did this, brought this beautiful result for us. Next slide, please. Yeah. So what are the other benefits that happen when you do soilless turmeric? One of the benefits of soilless turmeric cultivation is that once you have finished one cycle, the harvested rhizomes can be used as seeds for the next season. You need not again have to buy from the market, which is a saving for the farmer. The cocoa peat, if it is properly solarized, it can be used up to 5 years. But with every crop, you may lose around 10 to 15%, depending on how much of cocoa peat is stuck to the roots, because it's very hard to pull out and remove it, especially when you do in high volumes. But you can still keep saving on cocoa peat, because cocoa peat is not cheap any longer, and you can save money. Grow bags again can be used depending on which part of the country you are. You can use it for 3 to 4 years without a problem, and that's again good news. The one more good news is when a person moves from soil to soilless turmeric, in farms, Dr. Ankigado sir will tell us that there are people who go and come from Kerala and lease lands in Karnataka, and they grow ginger, for example. What happens is these two crops are heavy eaters, so they eat a lot of nutrient, and the soil is useless after that crops are over. After 4 or 5 years, there's nothing left there. So when you do in soilless, that problem is not there. So you don't have to worry what happened to my soil, whether it got degraded or any of those things. Next slide, please. So Rajiv came up with something saying, while Steve Jobs has connected the dots, CV Hydro has connected the pots. So here pots means grow bags. And we also have had a lot of elite buyers of turmeric showing interest to buy turmeric from soil growers. Like we have Mr. Mervin here with us. He will also tell us during this talk what they look for when they buy turmeric. So our whole idea of Mission Turmeric is seed to harvest and beyond. And we have brought everybody here on the table. We brought distinguished guests who work for the government of India, Dr. Ankigado sir, Dr. Murtaza Hassan, and then we have Mervin, who's a buyer. I tried to bring more buyers, but it's end of the year, so they're all busy with financial year ending. Next slide, please. So how do you get started? If you want to start in Mission Haldrak, as we call it, 2022, we have also added ginger, because ginger is also the same family and they have very similar requirements, although physiologically their looks are not the same. So you can, how to join a pilot project, that will be shown on the next few slides. Next slide, please. Yeah, so we have the 500 square feet pilot training project, and we have a consulting element and a material supply element. CV Hydro supplies everything that you need. Only we don't supply is the rhizome, because you can buy it. We'll point you to the right sellers. And the structure is something that we don't build for you. You can build it locally, a shade net. And many people, as I said, think that a polyhouse is required for growing ginger and turmeric, but we have done R&D and found that the best way to grow it is in a shade house, and that also the turmeric grows best under a white shade net. I really don't know why, but we tried all colors, but white was the best. And you can build your own structure and buy your rhizomes and get ready to go. So we have the small training project, which is 500 square feet, and then we have the 1,000 square feet. So Rajiv, next slide. Next slide. Yeah. So here is the small format training project. After this is over, if any of you want the details about how much it will cost to get started, we always tell people to start small. We don't urge anyone to put their lot of money into it without learning the subject. So in a 1,000 square feet, you can have around 120 grow bags, and you can even try different varieties of turmeric and ginger if you like. And you can learn for the next cycle. The cycle will be starting from May 1st week. In some parts of India, it will be by around first week of June. So you're all ready to start. It's the right time, and it's not a one big expenditure just to learn something, but the small format is a very good way to start. And I would urge all those interested to get into this field to please look at the small training format training project, either 500 or 1,000 square feet. Next slide, please. So this is your timeline and how you can move. It's a what you call a schedule kind of thing. You start off with getting into the growers group. Then by 26 March, we are already there. We talk of farm operations readiness, and the sowing date is around 15th April to I mean, it should be May actually, but it's okay. And then 6 to 9 months. Now 6 to 9 months is mentioned because there is a variety called Pragati variety, which is supposed to give yield in 6 months. But our actual experience with Pragati is it also takes 9 months to give results. So we also urge people to try and grow the turmeric that grows naturally in that region rather than run behind Lacadong and run behind all this, because you must realize Lacadong turmeric does well because of the environment in which it grows in Meghalaya. But if you take the same Chenna Salem to Meghalaya, don't expect results, and the other way around. You will get result, but you will never be able to match the result that you'll get in that area. So ideally, you should grow a local variety and grow it better. And it can be done because Chenna Salem is a variety that doesn't give that kind of yield in the field, but we have proven that it can give much better results. So then we come to the harvesting time, and then we are ready by January 2023 to have the results from the growers. And once again, have another session like this where we'll be able to. This year, I am very determined that I'm going to get behind my growers and make them report, because we have had observations over the last 1 year, and we want to make sure that better reporting, better scouting will help, and better management style comes in so that people will benefit from this. Next slide, please. So we come out to a conclusion with our presentation, everybody, and all I can say is this is something that we have proven, and we are very proud to say that we have worked very hard over the last 2+ years, and we have come to a point where we have actually proven to the world that there is great hope in turmeric and ginger. And I hope people at the central government level also hear about these breakthroughs, and they have the wherewithal to spread this knowledge so that more people enter into this field. We have clearly proven that there is an opportunity for people to not just double their income, they could even quadruple their income. So in that sense, we are happy that with keeping the central government's vision to double farmers' income, at least in one crop, we have been able to prove it, and we have shaken hands along with those people in their mission. So it's been a great opportunity for me to bring this, do this for the last 2 years, bring it from laboratory to the land, prove it over a period of time, and nothing makes me more happier. I want that more people should enter in this field, because turmeric is a cash crop, ginger is a cash crop. You cannot go wrong on that. It's not like a perishable vegetable like tomato or any of those things. So there is great hope and there's great potential in this future. And as all of you know, turmeric has become very, very much in demand, especially after the last 2 years of COVID, because people realize the value of immunity. But having said that, you must remember it is not just running behind curcumin content. The different varieties of turmeric give different curcumin content, and there are various varieties in turmeric. Like you have Amba Haldi. Amba Haldi is also known as mango ginger. It is not known for its curcumin content. It is used for pickling purpose. So if you start a pickling brand, you could make some money out of it, definitely, because post-processing is where the money is. If you take Kali Haldi, it has its own market. Then you have Kasturi Haldi, which we call Curcuma aromatica. Aromatica is used for cosmetics. That has its own market. Then you have Curcuma longa varieties. About 49 varieties exist in this country, and those varieties also are known for their curcumin content. If you don't do curcumin extraction, you can always make beautiful turmeric powder and sell it in the market. And like we say, we never claim to be organic. We are close to organic. The only difference is that we use chemical fertilizer. usage of chemical fertilizer is not a crime, or it's not anything going to damage somebody's health. Of course, if you overuse it, anything is bad if it's overdone. But ours is precision farming. In the last 15 days, we stopped giving any more nutrition to the grow banks, and the plant picks up whatever is possible, and then there is nothing called nutrient residue or anything, because these plants take them up. So there's great hope, everybody in this field. All those who really want to enter into this field, I have already told you the hard side of it. I have told you the observations. I've told you all the results of what happened without cooking up anything, because we would rather bring the truth of things to the world. A lot of farmers get cheated, and especially the farmers who get cheated are not the conventional farmers, because they do what they do and they continue to what they do. But it is these new persons who come into it. They think, I've got land, I've got money, I can put technology, and somebody convinces them with Excel sheets and gives them rosy pictures, and then what happens? They lose all their money. There are a lot of failure cases because of that. But at CV Hydro, our policy is very different. We will tell the truth, whether people like it or not. We will tell the truth so that nobody jumps into the fire and makes a mistake. That's the reason why we have these small pilot projects, and we urge people to learn in a small way and then slowly learn hard, skill up, and scale up. So that's the mantra. And thank you everybody for being here on this show. I must also thank Colonel Sujan Mohanty. He's also an army officer who's also been doing some amazing work in farming, in organic farming in Orissa for 5 years. He's a very, very passionate, from what I hear. I've never met him. I'll be meeting him in 2 weeks' time. He's coming to Bangalore with 2 other 4G friends of his to meet me and understand things. So thank you everyone for giving me a patient hearing. I hope you enjoyed the session. We got all the necessary threads to pick up from, and I'm always available, and Rajiv is also always available to answer any questions that you have. And you must remember, if you want to join the growers group, you're just in time. You need to join the group, get all your materials, get your shade net ready, get all those things ready, and by May first week, or if it's more northwards of India, then closer to first week of June, we should be ready to plant and we start our journey. So welcome everyone, and thank you very much. Godspeed and good luck, and see you all soon. I will now throw the this thing open for anyone who has any questions to ask. And if you have any questions to ask, you can ask. And we have enlightened experts in this group. Dr. Akibala sir is there, and Mr. Sahasan is there. So please ask your questions, and we'll take the session forward.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for sharing all the insightful things. I see some questions and comments in the chat, so we would like to take them first. I see Sharan asking, could you please give us an example of how our record keeping should be?
Yeah, that he will come to know. He's already joined as a grower. If Sharan is here on this group, he is already joined as a grower, and he will be given the 64 parameter reporting parameters to how to go about things. So he will get it. I mean, he can just contact you and you can share all the reporting formats with him.
So Sharan, I'll be happy to share the reporting format with you. So we'll take that separately. The next one is for me. I think there's a slight observation from Girisha sir that please clarify on yield to profit ratio, as the yield shown is wet and price considered is for dry. So I'll have to share the screen again to go back to the slides. So here you are looking at the traditional turmeric farmers 1 acre yield and economics. Now on the top, the yield is shown about wet turmeric, and the farmer's profit per kg is taken as per the difference between cost of production for this whole thing, and this cost of production includes the drying cost also. So that is why we arrive at 14 per kg. But I understand your confusion is with on the other slide maybe, which is about Soilless. Soilless, this cost of production per kg would not include the drying cost. That would be part of this amount. We are at this moment, we are not sure about a perfect drying cost for soilless turmeric, or I would look at CV sir to shed some light on the cost, and then we can consider that to be added to the cost of production if we have to calculate the profit and the difference between dry polished turmeric price and cost of production, including the cost of drying the turmeric.
Rajiv.
Sure.
Hello. Yeah, Rajiv, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yeah. So, as you know, I am not a post-harvest specialist.
Yeah.
So, to be honest with you, I cannot hazard a guess as to what will be the cost of drying and polishing, because that's not in my remit. That means I honestly don't know, but we can definitely find out, and from some sources. Maybe we can even ask Anke Gowda sir to help us with that, because he works with a lot of ginger and turmeric farmers, and we can get some answers from sir, and then announce it to all of the people who have taken part today in this program.
Sure, sir. I understand that CV sir and CV Hydro's forte and the scope of work is from pre-seeding treatment to harvest. But coming back to the context of this question raised by Girisha sir, in the traditional illustration, the traditional farming illustration, the cost of production 36 rupees per kilo includes the cost of drying. So this number 14 per kg is the right figure as per the research and the work done by agri farming guys. And then the next slide, soilless, we can keep the cost of drying the turmeric in this 38 rupees per kg. We'll have to shell some more money, probably dry, but still it is, I think, 2 or 3 times more than what the traditional farmer is earning. So even if we consider, I think, $8 or $10, which I'm not sure, which we can find out and share with you, Girisha sir, later. I hope this particular response helps you to get this, but I'll definitely get back to you on this one.
So next question, Rajiv. What is the next one?
Yeah. So we have Santa Kumaran sir. He says wanted to see a project to know how it is done.
Yeah, right now, Rajiv, you know that the this is a harvesting time.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, right now it is all anywhere in India. If you go, whether it is soil or soilless, the harvesting is going on, and it is you cannot see any live production happening because of turmeric happening, because it's not the season. So the season will begin around May and June, depending on which part of the country it is, and at that point in time they can see. So Mr. Shantakumaran, if you want to see it right away, it may not be possible, but we can share. We have done so many visits to the commercial farms, right, and to the pilot projects. So you can share those information which we have actually videotaped of our own clients and our own growers, that can be shared with Mr. Shantakumar.
Done. I'll do that. Then we have another question from Sharan. Does using the rhizomes from the same plant over time cause weaker plants in multiple generations? I probably didn't understand the question. I'm going to repeat that question again. Does using rhizomes from the same plant over time cause weaker plants?
To be honest with you, unless of course they are hybrid varieties, we might need to take some more help from people like Dr. Anke Gowda sir. But in my experience, I have seen that there is hardly any change, because the quality of the soilless rhizomes are the ones I've used are mostly natural varieties, and natural varieties.
4 to 5. Hello. 4 to 5 times you can use, sir.
There, Anke Gowda sir says you can use up to 4 to 5 times. There's no problem.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, thank you, sir.
Since Dr. Anke Gowda sir is audible now, should we have a parting note from him and kind words?
No, first finish off with the question answers.
Okay. So look at another question. Paramjit ji is asking, please share the source of EC meter. Paramjit ji, I'll share that with you separately on WhatsApp. There are many suppliers on Amazon. I think most of the growers I noticed have been using EC and pH meters supplied by HM Digital. But I'll share a link that I have with me with you on WhatsApp. Then we have Colonel Sujan Monty says, thank you, sir, for a great presentation. Can we grow turmeric under mango canopy? And if shade net is required, would it only cover the top or the sides also? That's the first question. Then we have the second question. I have 250 kilos of seed materials. So how much area is required for it? And third question is, do we require drip irrigation or we can do without it?
I would suggest you ask these questions one by one because I'm old and my memory is fading.
Sure, sir. I'm sorry about that. So the first question is, can we grow turmeric under the mango canopy?
So I think we'll throw this question to Dr. Anke Gowda sir back again because he knows that people grow it in between mango trees and other things. But if you ask me, turmeric and ginger are shade-loving plants, and because of that reason only they plant them under between the rows of mango and other trees. But we can also ask sir because he knows a lot of soil farmers how they grow. Sir, would you be able to throw some light, sir? Dr. Anke Gowda there or is... I think he's left. Anyway, I'm answering that question to you that turmeric and ginger are shade-loving plants. And in our experience, when the light levels had dropped by 50% by using a 50% shade net, we got maximum growth. So yes, it is possible to grow what you're growing. Next question which he asked.
If shade net is required, would it only cover the top or the sides also?
No. If you're doing it in I mean, not among the mango trees, then I don't see any reason why you need a shade net. But yield levels cannot be predicted. But yes, you will still get better yield than when you grow it in the absolute open without any shade.
Okay. And he asked third question. He's got 250 kilos of seed materials. So how much area is required for it?
See, normally for 1 acre, when you look at finger rhizomes, we are looking at approximately 1.4 tons per acre seed material. So if you extrapolate 250 kg, that will give you how much area will be required for planting of 250 kg of turmeric rhizomes.
Okay, thank you, sir. The next question is, do we require the drip irrigation or we can do without it?
Well, if you are doing it in our soilless method of thing, or even soil for that matter, drip irrigation is always good because when we talk of drip irrigation, what happens is we look at two main things. One is quality and quantity. The dripper system should deliver at every drip point the same amount of water for all the plants, otherwise you'll get uneven growth. And if you are administering the water with adjusted EC and pH, all plants in that area, whether it is soil or soilless, must be given. All plants must receive the same EC pH. It should not happen that the EC is different for different plants during the same irrigation event.
Thank you, sir. I think those are the questions. I hope Colonel Monty, your questions are answered, sir. And the next one is from Sunil Isaac. For soilless farming, what does the cost of production of rupees 12 per kg include?
Working whatever consumables and all the various those things are included. Working capital.
Okay. And then we have another question from Santa Kumaran, sir. Is it done in the open, not inside a shed?
When you say shed means what? I didn't understand what shed means. You mean to say a shed where light does not penetrate?
Yeah, that's not clear. This is the only question I could read from him.
So let me put it this way: from our experience, our R&D, we found that the best growth happens under a shade net, and it grows extremely well. So if you must not have a shed which doesn't allow any light at all to enter, because then you won't get any growth. There won't be sufficient amount of photosynthesis. And turmeric is a plant that in the first 4.5 months needs to go through a lot of good amount of photosynthesis, so that the enzymes and carbohydrates and various other assimilates are made by the plants. We think that we are giving nutrition to the plant, but we don't realize that plants also produce their own food. So that food that is produced during photosynthesis is then translocated from the leaves and stems around the 4.5 to 5 months. That is when the actual rhizome growth begins. So that is to be kept in mind.
Thank you, sir. Then we have a question for Anke Gowda sir from Paramjeet ji. The question is, I don't think Anke Gowda sir is with us now, but the question is, what are the viruses or diseases set in the seed which forbids the seed usage after 4 years?
That is a question I think we need to go to the scientists.
Yeah.
I think Dr. Anke Gowda can answer that better.
Right. Anke Gowda ji is not here. Probably we can share an email address later with you, Paramjeet ji, and then you can take it up with him.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Then we have how to join the project, contact number, etc. So I'm typing my number in the chat box. Please make a note of this number, and you can call me or you can send me a WhatsApp message, say hi, and I'll send you the details of how to proceed.
Yeah.
So I just dropped my WhatsApp number in the chat box. You can make a note of it. If you have any questions, if you want to talk to me, ask me any questions that are not answered on this session. Not technical, of course. Technical, I'll have to look at CV, sir. But general questions, and you can reach out to me on WhatsApp or on call. So, CV, sir, I think that those are the only questions that we had on this chat box. Preeti ji says, thank you so much for an enlightening session, CV, sir.
Yeah. And we'll request Colonel Monty. Colonel Monty is on, I think, with us. So, Colonel, we would like you to just do what we call in the Navy as a hot wash-up and tell us what you thought about the session, because you're also a very passionate farmer. I think we have a few of our growers with us. Thank you, Mitesh, Mahadevan, Rohan Sankpal, and Sharan, and also Sunil Isaac. Also, thank you very much to growers who came. I also see Mr. Sunil Dalitaya. Thank you very much for coming in. Thank you to all of you who are attending. And Girish is also a grower. So, being a Sunday, I think we do not have more people, but doesn't matter. But once again, thank you everyone for having given your time, with almost 2 hours of your time. And if you have any questions, just reach out to Rajiv, and we will be happy to solve your problems at the best, to the best of our ability. And if any one of you have anything to say, or any observations, or anything that you have, anything in your mind, and you would like to speak up, please speak up. We have another 10 minutes before we will close the session. So in absentia, I would thank Dr. Murtaza Hassan, Mr. Mervin. They're all very busy people, and Dr. Anke Gowda as well. He was sitting in his car and actually attending the program, which was just amazing. And yeah, so if anyone wants to say something or feels give any observation or feedback, you're most welcome. Otherwise, we will terminate the session. And thank you all for attending. And Mission Haldrak is actually a mission with a vision, or a vision with a mission. But at the same time, it is something we are proud of having proven on ground. And in the years to come, every revolution takes time, but we are sure that. And I also would urge all my new growers who are on this group, Mitesh ji, Girish, Sharan, Sunil ji, please take it seriously and do something, so that next year we'll have even more success stories to talk about, and all the observations that we have made, all those will be much negative observations will become positive observations. So I wish all my growers all the best. Thank you for attending. and one Mr. Anil Poddar is also here. Thank you for coming. And God bless. Good luck. And if you have anything to say, Rajiv, you can wait for a minute or two. Otherwise, we can close down. Thank you very much, Jai Hind, and good luck. God bless.
Thank you all for joining. And if you have any questions, you can reach out to me. I have shared my number. I'm going to drop my contact number one more time. You can reach out to me on WhatsApp or call. And if any questions are not answered, we can take it up offline. So please reach out to me on this number. Here it comes. Joining the session, and I hope you are taking away a lot of insightful stuff from this session. We'll stay connected. You have a good night, good Sunday.
And last but not the least, I must thank Rajiv for having conducted the session in a most impeccable and professional manner. Thank you very much, Rajiv. You always do a great job, and you do better job each time. Thank you, Rajiv, and I just don't have words to say how much your efforts are so useful to this mission. Thank you, Rajiv. Good night.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. All right. Good night, everyone. Signing off.
Good night, everybody.